My name is Alex, a 40-year-old man. I've never had a girlfriend in my life. I'm truly unlucky when it comes to love. It's because I'm incredibly ugly. I started suffering from pimples when I entered middle school. I thought pimples was normal during puberty, but there were guys with clear skin around me. Thinking that cleaning my face thoroughly might make me a bit more attractive, I bought a face wash that was supposed to be effective against acne bacteria and scrubbed my face with a brush. But it turns out scrubbing face like that isn't good. I was supposed to wash it gently, enveloping it in soft foam. Due to friction, my skin was damaged and became even redder, resulting in a massive breakout of pimples. I originally had about 4 spots, but soon there were as many as 10 to 20, leaving my face covered in pimples. Arg! What's with all this pimples? It's disgusting, even to me. How can it be this bad? There was a classmate who was handsome, with smooth skin and tall stature. I wished I could be like him, but it was impossible for me. Because I'm not that tall and I have short legs. I was troubled by being called Pigfoot Man by the girls. I've been chubby since I was a child, and that didn't change as I hit my teens. No, maybe it's more accurate to say I was fat. Every time I ran, my belly would jiggle. I was definitely overweight. One girl said that short legs might be cute on a cat or a dog, but on me, it just made me an ugly guy with short legs, and she laughed. It's true, dachshunds and corgis, or munchkin cats with their short legs and waddling walk, are adorable. There was a family in the neighborhood that had a dachshund and a munchkin, and I thought they were cute when I visited them. But no one thinks I'm cute with my short legs. It might look adorable when a short-legged animal runs earnestly, but when I run, it just looks ridiculous. That a chubby man with short legs is running is nothing but a joke. Even with shoes that were supposed to help me run faster, I was still the slowest. So, I was the laughingstock at sports festivals, and I felt humiliated. I have zero athletic ability, so I ended up falling during a relay race. It was customary for the fast runners to participate, but a mean girl suggested, "I think Alex should do it," and everyone agreed, so I had to run. It was reluctant, but since everyone agreed, I ended up running in the relay. I spent those miserable middle school years without making any friends. My only friends were a stray cat that occasionally entered the schoolyard and the school's rabbits. I am truly a sad man. In high school, I was not popular either and lived as a nerd. The term nerd describes someone who is solitary and does not easily fit into groups. It's not an exaggeration to say that this word was made for me. The cheerful, outgoing kids in my class looked down on me and insulted me. But I thought things would be different in college, where everyone would be more mature and there would be no nastiness. Sure enough, by the time I started college, everyone seemed more settled down, and there was less overt nastiness compared to high school. It wasn't completely gone, but it was definitely more subdued. However, when I sat next to a girl in the cafeteria, she moved to a different seat. She said, "Ew, gross," which really hurt my feelings. Afterward, I managed to find a job and started working at a certain company. At that company, a colleague named Jason was incredibly popular. Jason was about 6 feet tall and had a slender, model-like figure. Plus, his face looked like he could belong in a boy band. He had a straight nose and his eyes were bright and double-lidded. His lips are quite small, yet they naturally have a very beautiful color, even without any makeup. It's similar to the lip color of actor Brad Pitt. In contrast, my face was a disaster. I have a flat nose, which people call a button nose. My eyes are tiny like clamshells, and people often asked if I was always sleepy. My mouth area has always been my biggest insecurity. I have what you might call severe buck teeth. Once, my mother took me to the dentist to see about getting them fixed, but after looking at the x-rays, the doctor said, "This is impossible." I was nearly in tears when I was told that I couldn't undergo orthodontic treatment due to ankylosis. Because of the ankylosis, the bones won't move, making it pointless to even put on braces. It would be the worst to pay a lot and still not have straight teeth. The case would not happen since everyone takes x-rays beforehand. Anyway, I was turned away at the door. I thought anyone could undergo orthodontic treatment, but realizing that it's not possible for some people, I had to give it up reluctantly. After all, I was turned down elsewhere too. I was devastated, thinking I would have to live with these extreme buck teeth forever. I didn't want people to see my worst feature, so I always looked down. Jason got married in his 20s and had 2 children with his wife. But I didn't even have a girlfriend in my 30s. And now, I'm 40. My parents are getting anxious and telling me to register at a marriage agency. But marriage agency is expensive, and I wonder if any woman would even consider someone as unattractive as me. I've given up on marriage and just go back and forth between work and home. Is this how my life is going to end? If only I had been born with a face like Jason's, I could have had the best life. Jason seems to have fun going out with his grown-up kids every week. Even at 40, he is aging well and has the vibe of a charming, mature man. He has few wrinkles, and he could easily be a model or actor if he weren't a company employee. But I'm just an ordinary old man. To make matters worse, my hair started thinning in my late 30s, accelerating my unfortunate appearance. It wouldn't be surprising if my hair soon looked like Homer Simpson's. To prevent more hair loss, I've been slathering over-the-counter treatments on my scalp. And since I was already overweight, I'm a triple difficulty of bald, fat, and buck-toothed. If I overcome this, I might be praised like Helen Keller, but who would praise me? There's a saying, don't assume you can always rely on your parents and money. It's quite true. As my parents have been spending a substantial amount of money on renovating our house. We weren't poor but not particularly wealthy either, and I might have to take care of them if their retirement funds run out. And my mom, who had me at 30, is now 70. My dad is 75, so it wouldn't be odd if he started to show signs of dementia. They live on their pensions, and although they still have some savings, I worry about what will happen if something goes wrong. As I live each day with a bleak outlook. One day, I was invited by a classmate to go to a mixer. It's a mixer for those over 35, often attended by people in their 40s. With the trend toward later marriages, especially in central New York, it's common to find many people in their 40s who are still unmarried. My classmate is a busy businessman who hadn't even had time to find a girlfriend. My classmate George is as handsome as Jason. However, their personalities are complete opposites. While Jason is handsome and kind to everyone, making him well-liked, George enjoys looking down on people. He was my college classmate, but I never really liked him. However, I went to the mixer thinking maybe I could find someone. But I quickly regretted it. George started belittling me in front of the women. What do you think of Alex's front teeth? Seriously, aren't they like a mouse's? Ha ha ha, it would be cute if he were a hamster or a guinea pig. But for a human, that's just bad. Must be tough eating, huh? Oh, but maybe it's handy for tearing into meat, like at a barbecue, right, Alex? Well. I guess. And look at this head. It's receding, man. Just like a dead tree, barely any hair left, it's bad. My hair is still thick. I bet it'll stay that way even when I'm an old man. Might even be thick in my coffin. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. And this belly. Like a drum. No one wants a bald, fat guy with buck teeth, right? Hilarious. Even though George is good-looking, I thought it was unnecessary for him to mock me to that extent. It's not like I want to be bald or have buck teeth. I tried dieting because I thought I could at least do something about being overweight, but since it didn't work, I gave up. Being overweight is a matter of poor self-management, but the baldness isn't helped by over-the-counter medicines. And the buck teeth were something I had to give up on fixing as a child. So I really didn't want to be ridiculed for my head and front teeth. Then the truth or dare game started. First, we played rock paper scissors, George won, and he asked me to choose truth or dare, so I chose dare. Alright, Alex and Amy will text each other for the next week. I'm Amy. Poor Amy, having to text with such an ugly guy. Well. I don't mind. Come on, both of you, get out your phones and exchange contacts. Hurry up. I'm really sorry about this, you must hate having to exchange contacts with someone like me. No, not at all. And so, I exchanged contact information with a woman named Amy. George was probably grinning, imagining how one of the beautiful 40-something women would hate exchanging contacts with me. What a mean guy. George was hitting on other women. I was desperately apologizing to Amy. I'm really sorry that you have to text me. No, let's enjoy this, it might be fate. I'll text you later. I'm not used to texting much, so I apologize if I'm a bit awkward. That's alright. Just reply when you can. Then I went home. My apartment is a bit old and close to my parents' house. After taking a shower, I laid in bed and texted Amy. Then, Amy replied with a very cute emoji. My mother also tries to use messaging apps, but being older, she sometimes uses odd emojis. Amy used feminine emojis, and it made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Messaging a woman other than my mom was a first for me, so I was quite thrilled and kept looking at the app until I fell asleep. Amy and I have been texting each other daily since. We talk about what kind of lunch we had or a funny show we watched. Amy seems to like sweets, and she would send me photos of cakes and macarons she bought on her way home from work. I sent her photos of the houseplants I'm growing at home. Communicating with Amy is so soothing. I never dreamed I could interact with a woman like this. Oh, I want to see Amy again. But how should I go about it? A week had passed, so George's mandated period for us to text each other was over. But I still wanted to keep talking to Amy, so I asked if it was okay to continue texting. To my delight, Amy responded, "Of course. Why don't we go out for a meal sometime?" Whoa! A meal. A meal with a woman, just the two of us. Oh, my heart is pounding. What should I wear? Something that doesn't accentuate my belly? Right, cleanliness is key, so maybe I should ask a store clerk to help me pick something. I asked my coworker Jason for advice on which store might be good. Generous Jason suggested Maison Dandy, a select shop. Whenever we gather for company outings on weekends, Jason always looks incredibly stylish. Casual yet clean, not too young but definitely cool. So, thinking I could also become a stylish older man like Jason, I hurried to Maison Dandy. The clerk was a handsome man with a beard and another who looked like a tall model. Despite my unattractive appearance, they served me courteously and chose clothes that suited me well. I bought a jacket, some innerwear, slacks, and leather shoes, which amounted to a shocking total, but it was all for my meal with Amy. So, I paid with my card and left the store. Back home, I tried on the clothes and was grinned to myself. I'm no stylish older man like Jason, but I look decent enough. I thought this would make it less embarrassing to meet Amy. I'm sure Amy will think I look decent too. Yeah, have some confidence, man. And then the day of our appointment arrived. We had arranged to meet at Grand Central Station, but I was so nervous that my palms were sweaty. Just then, I heard Amy's voice from behind. "Oh, sorry to keep you waiting." "No, I just got here too." Actually, I had arrived an hour earlier, but I quickly told a lie. Because I didn't want to make Amy feel uncomfortable. "Shall we go then? I've booked an Italian restaurant." "I'm sorry for leaving everything to you even though I'm the one asking you first." "Not at all, I was happy just to have a meal together, so it's no trouble at all." "I hope you like it." Hey, I'm curious about the restaurant." As we entered the Italian restaurant, a delicious aroma greeted us. It was a fancy place serving course meals, a setting I'd never been to with a woman before. I had been to nice restaurants for company entertainments, but enjoying a course meal in private with a woman was a first for me. While we were enjoying the appetizer, someone came in and sat next to us. Turns out, it was George. He had brought the woman he met at the mixer, and I deeply regretted booking the same restaurant. I feared he might say something unpleasant again. And sure enough, George looked over at us and laughed. "Amy, you can't enjoy your meal with such an ugly guy, can you? The food must taste awful. You should have come with another man." And to think, not only did you keep texting after that, but you're actually on a date? That's crazy. But look at him eating with those buck teeth, it's gross, right? Well, do as you like. The woman with George, Kate, also smirked, which made me feel awful. We weren't bothering anyone, so I wished they would just leave us alone. Even so, Amy provided me with plenty of topics to talk about, which made me happy. She asked about what I do at work and what my hobbies are. Amy didn't just like sweets, she also enjoyed making jewelry. She used resin to create accessories and sold them on a flea market website. She showed me photos, and they were professional-level pieces, which surprised me. That's amazing. You can make such things. You're really skilled with your hands, Amy. Thank you. But I've been so busy with work lately that I haven't had much time for hobbies. If I had more time, I'd love to make more accessories. Being busy can be tough. By the way, when is your birthday, Alex? Me? Yes, I also make accessories using stones, not just resin ones. Look. Wow, these could be sold in a shop. Oh, mine is in June. Then, it's moonstone for you. If you'd like, I can give you a moonstone accessory for men. But, you're using gemstones, right? They're expensive, and it's a waste. Something so nice for someone ugly like me. It's like casting pearls before swine. What? I don't think so at all. I find you very charming and wonderful. Ha? I was momentarily stunned, and I gave a deflated reply. I never thought the day would come when someone would call me charming and wonderful. Moreover, by such a beautiful lady. Amy is 35 years old, which is younger than me, but she looks even younger. She could probably pass for about 30 years old and nobody would know. Being called these things by the beautiful Amy made my heart race. Later, when I met Amy again, she gave me the men's accessory. I kept it in my bag as a charm. By this point, I couldn't think of anything but Amy, and she filled 99% of my thoughts. Oh, I just wanted to confess my feelings. Thinking this, I dressed in my best outfit and called Amy to meet up. Amy, there's something I want to talk about. What is it? Well, I can't help it anymore, I'm madly in love with you. Please, would you go out with me? Really? Is it okay? Huh? I was wondering when you'd confess. What? You were? Yes, I like you too, Alex. She likes me, she said she likes me. For the first time in my 40 years, someone other than my parents had told me she liked me. I was so happy I felt like dancing on the spot. And so, Amy and I became a couple. After dating for 6 months, I started thinking about the future. I wondered if we should date a bit longer before getting married, but I'm already 40. Amy isn't very young either, and it seemed better to make a decision sooner rather than later. Even if we broke up, she could still find someone else. Amy is beautiful, and if things didn't work out after dragging on, she could definitely find a wonderful man. I was scared, but I decided to gather my courage and propose to Amy. I carefully chose an engagement ring and bought a bouquet of roses. It might seem silly for a bald, fat man with buck teeth to do something so romantic, but I wanted to surprise her in my own way. I invited her out as usual and called her to a certain spot on a Saturday. I approached Amy and handed her the bouquet of roses. Wow, what beautiful roses! What's this for? Today's a surprise. A surprise? What are you going to do? Look at this. I want to give this to you. Basically, I want to marry you. Amy, please marry me. I may be ugly, but I love you more than anyone. I will always cherish you, so please, marry me. Alex. I'm so happy. I've never felt this loved before. Thank you for accepting. Let's build a wonderful life together. And with that, we decided to meet each other's parents. First, Amy came to my house. My parents were thrilled, saying things like, "We're so happy to have such a beautiful daughter-in-law, and you've done well, Alex." My parents must be relieved now. They don't exactly want a daughter-in-law for caregiving, but they were worried only about me. They must have thought I'd never find a girlfriend, lacking any charm, and would end up living alone forever. Lately, there have been stories on TV about elderly people living alone. And they were genuinely worried about me ending up lonely and dying without anyone knowing. Next, it was time to visit Amy's parents' home. Amy's house turned out to be quite a mansion, which intimidated me. It was so spacious, I wondered how many times bigger it was than my parents' place. When I pressed the doorbell, her mother came out. I'm not actually married yet, so they aren't really my in-laws, but for simplicity's sake, I decided to refer to them as my mother-in-law and father-in-law in my mind. Welcome. Oh, you must be Alex. Ah, come in. Thank you very much. She paused for a moment when she saw me. That's understandable. If their precious daughter's fiancé turned out to be a bald, fat guy with buck teeth, they'd surely be shocked. They might even seriously worry about their daughter's judgment. Let me get you something to drink. We have iced tea, iced coffee, and hot tea and coffee. What would you like? I'll have an iced tea, please. I'll have hot tea. All right. I opted for iced tea because I was feeling overly hot from my nerves. In the meantime, my future father-in-law came down from upstairs. He is already here. Sorry about that, I was looking for my glasses. I am Alex, dating your daughter. Is there something wrong? I panicked, thinking there might be something on my clothes or my thinning hair. Because he was looking at me very intently. Your father, could it be? Yes, my father? Wasn't he a policeman? Yes, he was, but how do you know that? Actually, I was helped by someone a long time ago. You look just like him. What? When I was younger, I used to play basketball with my friends in a busy area. Then, a car came. He saved me at the last second, but he got injured. I felt terribly sorry about it. I've heard about that incident from my father. I had no idea it was you. My father is now 75 years old, but Amy's parents are still quite young, around 55, as Amy told me. It seems they got married while still students and then had Amy. While raising children, my mother-in-law graduated from a women's college, and my father-in-law was a dedicated sales professional, also helping with childcare. Later on, my father-in-law started his own company, which apparently grew to generate an annual revenue of $10 million. He's a very impressive man. My face, in fact, is the spitting image of my father. The small eyes, low nose, and buck teeth are all traits I inherited from him. My mother is very beautiful, and I often wondered why I hadn't inherited even a single trait from her. It is said that boys often resemble their mothers, but I don't look like her at all. Sometimes when I walked with my father, people would say we looked exactly alike, but I always thought that meant we were both equally unattractive. Yet, despite his unattractive features, my father was a man of brave deeds. My father-in-law was a naughty boy at 15, spending his days immersed in basketball. He was playing basketball with friends at the park when the ball bounced onto the road, so he went to pick it up. However, he nearly got hit by a speeding car that suddenly appeared. At that time, my dad, who was 35 years old then, rushed over and narrowly saved my father-in-law. Watch out. Whoa. Are you okay, kid? Yeah, but are you okay, sir? Your uniform is torn. Yeah, I'm fine. But make sure you check the road before you go after the ball next time. Okay, shouldn't you be in an ambulance? It's just a scratch, and I didn't hit my head, so I'm alright. But I need to check on that car later, it wasn't obeying the speed limit. Ouch. Sir, you're so cool. Being a police officer really is amazing. Really? Yeah, it's a wonderful job protecting everyone. Thank you, sir. There's a significant age gap between our parents. My father-in-law was still kids when my dad already started to work. Man, I was really saved back then. If your dad hadn't rescued me, I might not be here today. That's true, and maybe that's why he always cautioned me about the roads. Like, don't dash out, and be careful crossing. I wonder if your dad was okay after that. No after effects, I hope? From what I've heard, he's fine. My dad is sturdy, and at 75 he's still going strong. Being a police officer, he kept himself in good shape. That's good to hear. Well, that was quite a story about your dad, Alex. He's really a brave man. Ha. Sorry for judging you by your looks at first. No harm meant, just reminded me of Amy's ex-boyfriend. Her ex-boyfriend? Amy, haven't you said anything? No, I'm sorry for keeping quiet, Alex. Actually, I was engaged to someone before. Really? Yes. He was as handsome as a model or actor, very stylish and gentle. We were engaged, but then I found out he was cheating. That's terrible. What a terrible guy. Yes, he really was. When I confronted him, he got angry and did something terrible. It was so scary. I thought I couldn't live like this and consulted a lawyer. Eventually, the engagement was broken off due to his cheating. After that, I decided to look for someone whose inner qualities mattered more than their looks. That's when I met you at a mixer, and at first, we just exchanged contact info for formalities. But as we kept in touch, I really fell for you and was so happy when you proposed. I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier about the troubles with my ex. Don't worry. Everyone has one or two secrets they'd rather take to the grave. I want to take extra care of you, since you've been hurt before. I might not be as tough as my dad, but I'll protect you in my own way. Alex. Ah, I see you are a very reliable man. Please, would you take my daughter? She can be a bit clumsy at times, but she's very dear to me. I've learned that it's what's inside that counts. I was wary at first, thinking what if she brings another weird guy? I'm sorry, Alex. But I think you'll be the best husband. Please take good care of Amy. No. I'm not sure if I can be a good husband, but my love for her is unmatched. I promise to cherish her and make her happy. I was truly happy to be accepted by my in-laws. It seems Amy had a tough past, but I want to make up for her sadness. I hope I can make her laugh more and be happier with me. I'm definitely not handsome. I'm bald, overweight, and have buck teeth, so I never thought I'd be popular with anyone. But having a girlfriend for the first time, I've realized how precious the time we spend together is. Amy and I immediately got married and then held our wedding ceremony. With the help of our in-laws, we managed to have our wedding at a 5-star hotel in New York. I even invited my classmate George, but he was sulking because he was cheated on by Kate and said he wouldn't come. He always mocked me for not being handsome, but it must irk him that such a good-looking guy got dumped. I guess he's jealous that an ugly guy like me could be happy, but I don't need to bother with him anymore. Colleagues from work also came to the wedding. The friendly Kyle performed a song for us. Kyle sang a Johnny Depp song, and not only did his voice resemble him, but he also looked somewhat like him. I'd like a face like Kyle's if I were reborn, but I'm grateful that Amy chose me even though I'm not handsome. Amy was 35 and worried she might not be able to get pregnant. But a year later, she did get pregnant. I was 41 by then, and Amy was 36. I was thrilled at the thought of becoming a father, and I tried listening to Amy's belly. I could hear the baby moving inside her growing belly. The baby seems to be quite mischievous. I wondered if it might have inherited that trait from my mischievous father-in-law. Then the baby was born. It was a slightly large boy. My wife, Amy, was in perfect health, and I was relieved. Our son is growing up fast. I'm over 40, so I wasn't sure about my stamina for raising kids. Still, I make sure we go out to theme parks or shopping on weekends to have fun as a family. I never thought I'd see such happy days. It feels like a dream. My parents keep buying toys for their adorable grandchild, so our house is overflowing with our son's toys. However, I caution them not to spoil him too much as it's not good for his education. Even an unattractive guy like me can find happiness, so surely everyone has the right to be happy. To all the middle-aged men who think they aren't attractive and are struggling right now, if someone like me can get married, stay courageous and confident.